Prabhupada writes in one purport, in the 10th canto, the greatness of a person has to be estimated by his ability to tolerate provoking situations. What must be tolerated? Provoking situations must be tolerated. Life throws at us. Even if you are practicing bhakti, even if you are practicing Krishna consciousness, inevitably we have to face some provoking situations, temptations, allurements, distractions, disturbances. We should cultivate that bandwidth to tolerate all those provoking situations and temptations and tribulations. By tolerating temptations, by tolerating tribulations, by tolerating allurements, by tolerating provocations, we can advance in Krishna consciousness. How? We will see. As I said, tolerance must be exhibited and cultivated. First cultivated and then exhibited on multiple levels. 4 levels. Today we'll discuss 4 levels of tolerance. 1. Tolerance on the sensory platform. 2nd, tolerance on the mental platform. 3rd, tolerance on intellectual platform. 4th, tolerance on the ego platform. At all levels we need to tolerate. You can say simply tolerate, but to be more specific, let's go deep into this topic and try to identify various levels of tolerance that we need to exhibit. The first and basic level of tolerance is the physical tolerance, bodily tolerance, tolerating on a sensory platform. We have 5 senses, right? You have 10 senses basically. But 5 are Jnanendriyas, 5 are Karmendriyas. 5 Jnanendriyas means knowledge acquiring senses. Let's focus on these 5 first. First, say eyes. The eyes have an urge to see beautiful objects. The eyes are constantly hankering to see beauty. Physical beauty. It could be beautiful places. It could be the beautiful form of the opposite gender. For men, women are attractive. For women, the form of man is attractive. There is a constant attraction that the eyes feel for beautiful forms in front of them. So, that is, eyes have attachment to the form. We need to tolerate that urge. We need to tolerate that urge to satisfy the eyes by not constantly supplying the forms that eyes want to see. Once Prabhupada was walking along with his disciples, and one of them looked in this direction, and then as they're moving forward, the eyes are going like this. So there is one woman there, and Prabhupada noticed this person, this devotee, and he felt very embarrassed and awkward. Momentarily he got a little distracted or attracted, whatever. Prabhupada said, "She's beautiful, isn't it?" He felt very embarrassed, awkward. Prabhupada said, if creation is so beautiful, just imagine how beautiful the Creator must be. So our eyes are constantly looking for beauty, but we need to tolerate that urge to allow the eyes to see beautiful items and control the eyes. Let the eyes not look in all different directions looking for beauty everywhere. Especially the form of opposite gender. But how do we channelize this urge of the eyes to see beauty? Look at Krishna's form. Look at the deities on the altar. They are so beautiful, isn't it? And that is spiritual beauty. And the beauty that the material eyes are hankering for is material beauty. Beauty of places, beauty of objects, beauty of people, these are all material and temporary in nature. So, instead of allowing your eyes to focus on material beauties, divert your eyes towards spiritual beauties. First, you need to tolerate that urge of the eyes to constantly explore beauty. Material beauty agitates the mind. Spiritual beauty pacifies the mind, satisfies the mind. And material beauty agitates the mind with a desire to enjoy that beauty. I need to acquire that beauty. When a man sees a beautiful woman, or when a woman sees a beautiful or handsome man, there is a desire to enjoy, right? But when a devotee sees the beautiful form of the beautiful deities on the altar, there is a desire to offer enjoyment to the deities. You see? This selfish desire will automatically become selfless desire to serve. For that, we need to first practice tolerating the urge of the eyes to see. Eyes. Then, urge of the tongue. The tongue has an urge to taste delicious items, sweets. And some people don't like sweets. They have urge to taste chilies. Even if they have ulcers, even if they have other kinds of digestion problems, they want spicy items. Spice. Doctor says, don't take spice. Yeah, we want spice. Urge to eat. Second is urge to speak. Even urge to eat is a little innocent. Even if you cannot control your urge to eat, at the max you may have some physical health problems. But urge to speak is even more dangerous. That's why our Rupa Goswami says in Upadeshamrita, Vacho Vegam. Vacho Vegam means the urge to speak, especially speak unnecessarily. So tolerate the urge to speak and tolerate the urge to eat. Eat nicely, but don't cross limits too often. On festival days you may have a feast, that's fine. But when there is a frequent urge to satisfy the demands of the tongue, that is detrimental for one's spiritual progress. We have to tolerate that urge of the tongue. You will discuss, Bhakti Shastri devotees will discuss it when you come to Upadeshamrita here in Gita now. The urge to speak, there is, we need to dovetail our urge to eat in eating Krishna Prasadam, that too in a moderate quantity. And we need to dovetail our urge to speak by diverting that ability to speak in Krishna Katha. Speak Krishna Katha. Tathapi kirtayam yanga yatha mati yatha shratam kirtim harehe swam satkartam giram anyabhidasatim. So, the tongue has a tendency to speak. So, Jnanis stop at controlling that urge to speak by doing Manavrat. But devotees dovetail that urge to speak by speaking Harikatha, by speaking about Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Leela. So that is speech, or the urge of the tongue, whether it is eating or speaking. We need to tolerate that urge and give the tongue a positive engagement. So eyes and tongue. What else? Nose. You have to, you smell. So there is urge to smell some fragrances. Then there is ear, urge to hear mundane songs, gossip, materialistic topics. But the urge to hear Harikatha, Krishna Katha is less. But by diverting our urge to hear towards eating and towards hearing Krishna Katha, and by tolerating the urge to hear mundane, materialistic topics, non-devotional topics, it must be tolerated. As Brahma says, Yanna vrajantyaga bhido rachana nuvada shrunvanti yenya vishaya kukatha matighnihi. Kukatha matighnihi. When we hear mundane, materialistic topics of sense gratification, matighnihi, mind is corrupted. So we need to tolerate that urge to use the power of hearing to hear some mundane topics. What else is remaining? Skin, the sense of touch. This is a very dangerous urge, and struggling sadhakas must try their best to tolerate this urge of the sense of touch. Now you see, in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is an episode of 24 Gurus. There are different examples of animals or insects or non-human species who become victims of these five senses. They try their best to bring their senses in contact with the respective sense objects, and thus they kill themselves, they harm themselves. For example, moth. Moth cannot tolerate the urge to see that form of fire. Moth is attracted to the form of fire, wants to contact that fire somehow and dies. There is an attraction towards the form of fire. Because moth cannot tolerate that urge to contact fire, moth will die. Then tongue. Fisherman will throw a bait and the fish is very uncontrollably attracted to taste it, even if the belly is full. And the fish will lose its life. Right? So moth is an example of being victimized by the sense of sight, and fish is an example of a victim of sense of tongue, taste. Then elephant. Elephant is an example of victim of being a sense of touch. So that's how hunters trap elephants. So a female elephant is made to move in front of the male elephant, and the female elephant is trained, so the elephant is moving and the male elephant will come behind, and that elephant is directed towards a big pit which is covered with some grasses and sticks, etc., and thinking that it is land, elephant will fall into it, and that's how it is trapped. You see, this is Prahlad Maharaj says, Kanduyanena karayoriva dukkha dukkham Yanmaithunadigrahamedi sukham hitucham Kanduyanena karayoriva dukkha dukkham Trupyantineha kripana bahu dukkha bhajam. So it's like Kanduyanena means this urge to scratch your body. You have an itching sensation. So you have an itching sensation here, and you scratch with your nails. You feel some relief. But as soon as you take out your fingernails, again there's an urge to, there's itching sensation. Again you scratch. You feel some relief. Again it starts itching. Again you scratch. You keep on scratching. The more you scratch, the more you'll get relief. But that relief is not permanent. As long as your nails are in contact with the skin, that puffy area, that infected area, you feel some kind of relief. But as soon as you take your fingers out, the itching sensation continues. And the more you are scratching, the more the infection is becoming bigger. The wound is becoming worse, right? So this scratching is not the solution for the itching sensation. No doctor will recommend. When you say I have some itching sensation on the hand or leg, no doctor will recommend you scratch 10 times in a day. You scratch 20 times in a day. You should grow your nails sharper. Otherwise you put some clips and then, or borrow nails of your family members and then keep scratching 100 times in a day. It will go away. No doctor will recommend like that. Treatment is something else. But the more you are scratching, the more the itching sensation is increasing. Similarly, if you don't tolerate the urge for sense gratification, if you think that, okay, let me satisfy this urge of senses, and the senses will be pacified, they will not bother me anymore, that's an illusion. That's an illusion. Bhagavatam 7th canto says that the more you supply drops of ghee to fire, the fire will just annure. Fire will not be extinguished. Fire will only say, I want more, I want more. So tolerate that urge. Now your infection is increasing and it is spreading all over the body. So with these infected nails, you just scratch here, it will go all over the body. So how to stop this spreading of infection? By tolerating the urge to scratch in the first place. The first urge to scratch, you have to tolerate. If you tolerate that, then you can avoid so much of infection. Tolerance. But elephant cannot tolerate that urge. Elephant loses its life. One more sense, ears. Which is the animal? Musk deer. Musk deer. Musk deer is an example of fragrance also. It's also an example of flute. Hunter plays flute, and the deer is very much attracted to the flute song and goes searching for the hunter, and hunter traps it. See, the urge to hear, because of the inability to tolerate the urge to hear, the deer lost its life. Similarly, there is a urge for smelling the fragrance of lotus. A bee goes into the lotus to smell the fragrance, and the petals will close like this. The bee is trapped there to taste the honey and also to experience the fragrance, and not knowing that the sun is setting, the bee continues to stay in the lotus, and the lotus petals close and the bee dies. So we have seen different animals described in Srimad Bhagavatam, animals and insects and non-human species. They became victims of their own senses. Because they could not tolerate the urge of their senses, they became victims and they lost their lives. So, sense of touch will trap an elephant, sense of taste will trap a fish. Which sense will trap a human being? All five. We have to be extra careful. Our situation is 5 times more dangerous than an elephant or a fish or a deer or any other animal. So human beings can be trapped by any of one of these 5 senses or all the 5 senses. All can be strong. Tongue can trap us, ear can trap us, eyes can trap us, nose can trap us, skin can trap us. So we have to tolerate that urge. Tolerance. Tolerate on a sensory platform. See, toshna sukha dukkadaha. Tolerate all kinds of physical inconveniences. Tolerate summer heat. Tolerate monsoon rain. Tolerate winter cold. And you can extend. I just spoke about 5 senses. There are many other things that we need to tolerate on a bodily, physical platform. But relatively speaking, this is easy. Tolerance on a physical platform is relatively easier. Maybe by practicing tolerance on a sensory platform, one day you will be able to conquer the senses also. One day you will be able to at least not become overly victimized by the senses also. But the next level is more difficult. Tolerance on the level of mind. Where does mind get inputs from? When your senses are contacting the sense objects, when your senses are interacting with the sense objects, mind is acquiring a lot of impressions. When the eyes are seeing the beautiful form of an object or a material place or material person, the mind is storing the impression. Say you have managed to tolerate. You have seen a beautiful person or object there which is not favorable for your bhakti, you turned your eyes away. Fine, you tolerated that urge. But within the mind, the previous impressions are there. They keep on bothering us. Isn't it? So there is some spicy item, you are not supposed to eat it. So you are not going to the prasadam counter. You are eating non-spicy khichdi separately. So that out of sight, out of mind, I can tolerate my urge to speak, urge to eat. That's good. But within the mind there is a lot of hankering. When will this course be over? Not Vidyapit course, I'm telling the medicine course. The doctor said next 10 days, no spicy items. This 15 days you take these medicines, you should avoid sweets. He says, right? So you are waiting for that 15 days to be finished so that you can just go and eat all kinds of items that you want. The 11th canto Bhagavatam says that by fasting all the senses can be controlled except one sense. What is that? Tongue. By fasting, all the senses can be controlled, but tongue cannot be controlled. Means, when you fast, you're not eating anything, your hands will become weak, legs will become weak, eyes become weak, all your senses become weak, you won't be able to do anything, you can't enjoy sense gratification through any of the senses. But when food comes in front, then we devour it, right? So one sense cannot be controlled by fasting, that is the tongue. We overeat. So we are waiting. When will this fasting be over? Nirjal I did. Next day morning, Nimbu Pani, then Khichdi and Charchari and a big feast. That we are waiting for it. So, anyways, whenever the senses are interacting with the sense object, then there is an impression stored in the mind. Even if we manage to control our senses, even if we manage to tolerate the urges of our senses, the mental urges are more. From here our class becomes a little more intense. If you found the class a little technical so far. Next is mind. So mind experiences different dualities. The Bhakti Shastri people we discussed a little bit yesterday in the 12th chapter. Happiness, distress, attachment, aversions. So mind gets disappointed when you don't get the appreciation that you deserve or that you desire. Whether we deserve or not, we desire many times. When you don't get what you want, when your desire is not fulfilled, when your emotions are not satisfied, when your feelings are not acknowledged, mind feels a sense of disappointment or discouragement. As sadhakas, we need to tolerate that. Mind is a storehouse of desires, emotions, feelings, and attachments, aversions. So we need to tolerate. Sometimes when our desire is not fulfilled, mind becomes very discouraged and disturbed. Tolerate that desire. When you did not get what you are attached to, when you did not get the appreciation that you think you deserve, when you are not encouraged for the good things that you have done, when people are not valuing you, they are undervaluing you, a lot of disappointment, a lot of discouragement. You feel very devastated, loneliness. People become lonely. When you become successful, when you become more successful than 10 other people, there is a loneliness in that success. When you become a failure, when 10 other people are more successful than you and you are lost and in the background, that also creates a sense of loneliness. That need not, but an immature mind feels a sense of loneliness in such situations even while practicing bhakti. So we need to tolerate that urge of the mind. So we need to tolerate happiness, we need to tolerate distress, we need to tolerate success, we need to tolerate failure, we need to tolerate victory, we need to tolerate defeat. When there is a happy moment, enjoy it, no problem, relish it, not an issue. But sometimes when your mind does not have the ability to tolerate that happiness or success, we become proud. Then the next level of tolerance of ego should come there. Right? We become overconfident. So whether it is happy moment or distressful moment, knowing that they are temporary, we need to have the ability or inclination to tolerate them. That's why Krishna said, Agama apayino anityaha tam stitikshasva bharata. Sita ushna sukha dukha. Sita ushna is on a physical plane. Sukha dukha are on a mental plane. Krishna says tolerate distress and tolerate happiness also. Actually, by tolerating distress, we grow in our spiritual life. By tolerating distress, we become more mature in bhakti. Say there is this mountain, this Kohos mountain behind us. We have been seeing this mountain since 16 and 17 years. We came here in 2010, permanently shifted here in 2010. 2009 and 8 also we came here a few times and stayed here for some time, for a few months. But 2010 onwards we have been staying here. 16 years we have been seeing this mountain. 16 monsoons we have seen. Every monsoon this Kohos mountain becomes clean and green, nicely decorated with green trees, clean trees, and waterfalls also looks very nice, and hundreds of photos are being clicked in monsoon. Now you look at the mountain in April ending. How dirty it looks, how dry it looks. But all this dirt and dryness are cleansed in July, in June, when rain starts falling. When you see August, oh my God, this mountain seems heavenly, right? So, but this mountain, how did this mountain become clean and green and beautiful in monsoon? By tolerating rain. When there is rain, you take an umbrella, but no one is holding an umbrella above this mountain. And when you become dirty, you're perspiring so much and you can go and take a bath, you clean yourself, but nobody is cleaning the mountain. But because mountain allows the rain to hit its surface, the mountain becomes clean and green and beautiful. Similarly, just as mountain becomes clean, green and beautiful by tolerating the rain, downpour of rains, similarly a sadhaka also becomes more mature by tolerating distress in life, tolerating inconveniences in life, tolerating tribulations in life. By tolerating provocations and allurements and temptations in life, we become more mature, we grow inside. By tolerating distress, we develop maturity. By tolerating happiness, we become more detached. By tolerating happiness in distress, there is a detachment from this material world. But if you are getting overly elated by happiness, overly getting discouraged and demotivated and depressed and distressed by difficulties, then we are not growing. Samadukha sukham dhoiram somritatvaya kalpate. Next level of tolerance is equanimity. On the level of tolerance, you can understand the difference between happiness and distress. And you choose to tolerate happiness and choose to tolerate distress. But when you become more mature and come to the level of equanimity, then you don't even see a difference between happiness and distress. Both are same. I think Bhakti Shastri batch knows this. We discussed it elaborately. When you are traveling on the road, the red signal will give you distress, green signal will give you happiness. When you are flying in an airplane, the red signal will not give you distress and the green signal will not give you happiness. Green signal is not of any relevance to you and red signal is also not relevant to you because you are in a different plane. Similarly, when you elevate yourself to a spiritual plane, then the red signals of distresses in this world, the green signals of happiness in this world will not affect us. We'll be able to effortlessly tolerate, not just tolerating, we'll see them on an equal plane. Samadukha sukham dhiram. And at that plane we can come to immortality. So amritatvaya kalpate. So distress and happiness must be tolerated on a mental plane. Emotions. Sometimes we feel neglected by others. Others ignore us. Others don't acknowledge our opinions. Other devotees may not be friendly with us sometimes. They may not talk to us so much. 10 people are there. They are talking, they're conversing among themselves, and you're sitting there and no one is talking to you. It happens sometimes. People feel a sense of loneliness even while practicing bhakti. Tolerate that. But what is the solution for this? This is a problem. Why they are not talking to you? Reason could be you had done a mistake. Or reason could be they have another topic in which your inputs are not required. Or your involvement is not needed there, or they are giving you that space. Okay, you do your thing. There would be 100 different reasons when you are not involved in a conversation. But the mind starts overthinking. Tolerate that urge to overthink. Important. Right? On a mental plane, we start becoming overly emotional, overly sentimental. We overly think, imagine, speculate. We think, oh, they don't like me, they don't love me, I'm neglected, I'm undervalued, I'm ignored, I'm good for nothing. So people get into a zone of depression and demotivation because of lack of depth in their Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada writes in the second canto, first chapter purports, fifth or sixth purport or fourth purport, I can't remember the exact verse name, second canto purport. A devotee is never afraid of being alone, because a devotee has the habit of chanting the names of the Lord, hearing Krishna Katha, and developing a deeper sense of bonding with Krishna through Sravanam and Kirtanam, the four core foundational spiritual practices. They feel a sense of bonding with Krishna, they never feel lonely. Even if the whole world abandons them, they don't feel lonely. Prabhupada struggled alone for 40 years. Some people seemingly helped him to some degree, but it's not substantial help. No one was there with him. 40 years he was struggling alone at that age. Then he got hundreds and thousands of followers and so many temples across the globe. But Prabhupada endured in that period. You see, he became successful because he's in touch with Krishna. When will we be able to tolerate all these emotional turmoils and ups and downs in our emotions and relations, happiness and distress, success and failure? Only when we develop a deeper bonding with Krishna. And when will we be able to control our senses? When will we be able to effortlessly tolerate all the sensory temptations and allurements? When we have positive spiritual engagement for those senses. We already discussed it. 2 levels we discussed. Sensory platform, tolerance on a sensory platform, tolerance on a mental platform, emotional platform, mind platform. On a sensory platform, you follow Ambrish Maharaj. Savai manah Krishna pada ravindayor vachamsi vaikuntha guna anuvarnani. Karo harer mandira marjanadishu shrutim chakara achyuta satkathodaye. He engaged all his senses in Krishna's service. Therefore, tolerating the sensual temptations are effortless for Ambrish Maharaj or any sincere sadhaka. And Savai Manaha Krishna Padaravinda, your mind is also engaged in Krishna's service, Krishna's thoughts, meditation on Krishna's lotus feet, then all these emotional ups and downs will not affect them. Right? You may do something, you may say something, there may be few people who comment on you. ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. Now, one way is you see that their feedback is helping me grow. They commented on me like this. Looks like there's a mistake on my part. Oh, good. They have pointed it out. They helped me. Then you take it logically and rationally and then you grow nicely. You overcome that mistake. But another way of responding to that comment is you become discouraged, demotivated. You feel, oh my God, these people are commenting on me. You feel discouraged. You withdraw yourself. You become lonely. Why? There is no ability to tolerate. Mind is reacting to it. Not responding to it appropriately, but reacting to it negatively. Lack of tolerance. So tolerate. Tam stitikshasva bharata. Tolerance in relationships. Tolerance in success and failure. Tolerance in happy moments and especially distressful moments. When the health goes down, when the body is unable to work properly, you are spending more time with the mind, then mind experiences all kinds of loneliness and speculation, imagination, distraction, disturbance in the mind. You should be able to tolerate it. When can we tolerate it? When we are experiencing the deeper bonding with Krishna, we can tolerate the mind's ups and downs and speculations and unnecessary distracting thoughts. Chittam naiva nivartate kshanamapi Sri Krishna padambujan nindantu priya bandhava gurujana grihnantu munchantu va Durvadam parighosayantu manuja vamshe kalankostu va Tadrik premadharanu raga madhuna mattayamanam tume. Chittam naiva nivartate kshanamapi. When the chitta is not distracted from Krishna's thoughts even once, even for a moment. Sri Krishna padambujan, when the mind is focused on Krishna's lotus feet constantly, at least you are trying to do so, then you will not be affected emotionally. Because chitta is focusing there. Nindantu priya bandhava gurujana grihnantu munchantu va. Your priya bandhus, your own dear relatives, gurujana, your own superiors and elders, nindantu, they may criticize you. A struggling sadhaka, average sadhaka, when they are criticized by others, they cannot tolerate it. The mind becomes very discouraged and demotivated. But a mature devotee who is experiencing that pleasure in bhakti, they can effortlessly tolerate this criticism. Nindantu priya bandhava gurujana grihanantu munchantu va. Let them accept me or reject me. I'll stick to my bhakti. Durvadam parighosayantu manuja vamshe kalankostu va. Durvadam, gossip. There's a gossip about a person, a devotee. And that gossip enters your ear, you become very sensitive. My God, what happened to me? Why people are saying like this? We get affected because of lack of emotional stability. To deal with the senses, we need to have self-control, sense control. Regulation, that's the right word. How to tolerate the temptations on a sensory platform? By regulation. And how to tolerate the temptations or distractions on a mental platform? By steadiness, by cultivating steadiness and sharp spiritual and scriptural intelligence. Your sharpened scriptural intelligence will help your mind not get overwhelmed by different emotional distractions, disturbances, right? Durvadam parighoshayantu manuja vamshe kalankostuva tadrik premadharanu madhuna mattayamanam tumi. Because a devotee experiences that prema from Krishna even while doing sadhana, they will not be affected by unnecessary gossip, unnecessary criticism, unnecessary temptations and allurements around them. They will be able to effortlessly tolerate them and focus on their bhakti. You see, sometimes there are like senior people who make decisions, and the decisions are not acceptable to some people. And these people may comment on them, criticize them. It happens. What to do? But they are determined because they have a good thought or they have a good motive. They have a sincere intention to serve Krishna in a certain way. And after due deliberation and discussion with some relevant people, mature people, they have come to a conclusion, and every conclusion may not be acceptable to everyone. Of course, when the decision is wrong, that's a different thing. But even if it is the most appropriate decision, the decision is not acceptable to some people. At that time, when those people who are against the decision are passing comments and making gossip and all, one who is responsible for the decision, one who has taken the decision, may feel disappointed, may feel discouraged, may have some disturbance in the mind. But if they have sincere intention to serve Krishna in a certain way, they will be unaffected by these comments. Right? It is the sincerity in the heart that helps us tolerate all kinds of emotional, mental disturbances. When there is a sincere intent to serve Krishna, we can effortlessly tolerate all these emotional distractions and disturbances. Makes sense? Class is getting heavy. Shall we go to the next level? What's the time now? Okay. Intellectual level. Tolerance on an intellectual plane. Especially relevant for all Vidyapit students. There are so many here, both batches together. How many are there here? 50, 60? 50 to 60 intellectuals are here. Most of the time in the day, you are straining your intelligence more than mind and body. Of course, body has its role to play, mind has its role to play, but your intelligence is super active when you are studying Shastra. Daily 3 hours class and self-study, exams, discussions, sloka recitations. Your intelligence is regularly being bombarded with or overwhelmed with so much of Shastra. But please don't study Shastra only on an intellectual plane. What did Krishna say in the Gita? 10.8. Bhakti Shastri batch. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattas sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajanti mam. Not buddha samanvita, buddha bhava samanvita. Don't use only your buddhi to understand Shastra. Shastra should induce some bhava in you. We discussed so elaborately in the 12th chapter. Double revision also we did. Smaranatmika bhakti, Mananatmika bhakti. Don't connect with Krishna only with your intelligence. Don't just try to understand Krishna Tattva with your intelligence. Don't just understand Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela with your intelligence only. Try to develop an emotional bonding with Krishna. Not in a very sentimental way or in a sahajya way, but ultimately we need to develop that finer affection and devotion for Krishna. If we stop at intellectual platform only, then we have a long way to go. The goal of your sadhana and swadhyaya is bhava. That's the definition of sadhana bhakti. You are engaging your senses and intelligence in studying Shastra, engaging your senses in doing so many services. The goal of all the sadhana bhakti, Vaidhi sadhana, is bhava, developing bhava. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, definition. Sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, prema bhakti. Goal of sadhana is bhava, and bhava should mature into prema. And they are not an intellectual platform. Bhava is not an intellectual platform. Bhava is an emotional platform, mind platform. You see? So we need to have finer emotions to connect with Krishna. So what is this tolerance on an intellectual plane? Coming to our main topic. Many times people who are having lot of intellectual bent, they try to approach Shastra more analytically. They see which Manvantara, which AD, which BC, which Yuga, which Loka, in this universe or outside the universe, which ocean, which yoga, okay. So there's an intellectual way of approaching Shastra, overly being analytical. While you have to, on a mental platform, you have to tolerate overthinking propensity. On an intellectual platform, you have to tolerate over-analyzing propensity. So mind tends to overthink, overly being emotional. And intelligence becomes overly rational. Tolerate that. Sometimes we rationalize everything. We become overly analytical. We feel everything must be approached in a very intellectual way, very philosophical way. There are some finer emotions. Don't strain your intelligence, please. Right? So intellectual perspective, grammatically they say, linguistically they analyze so much. Nothing wrong in it. But when it crosses certain limit, we are missing the finer emotions that shloka or the pastime can invoke. All the episodes of Srimad Bhagavatam, all the slokas of Srimad Bhagavatam, all the characters of Srimad Bhagavatam, they can invoke finer emotions within us, finer devotional emotions within us. Not some kind of speculative emotions like a sahajiya, but some finer, genuine devotional emotions within us. But when we overly rationalize them, intellectually approach them, philosophize them, becoming overly analytical, then we miss that finer things. We miss to relish. So we need to tolerate that urge of intellectual analysis also. Intelligence is required, definitely. Intelligence should control the mind's feelings and emotions and thoughts and desires. I am not denying that. We need to sharpen our intelligence by studying Shastra properly. We need to understand the philosophy. But if you are only on an intellectual plane, and if all the descriptions of Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela in the Shastra are not touching your heart, not influencing your emotions, not inducing loving feelings for Krishna within your heart, we have a long way to go. Tolerate that urge for intellectual analysis and overly rationalizing things. That requires simplicity. We discussed, right? I didn't use the board. What is how do you tolerate temptations on a sensory platform? By regulation. And how do you tolerate the speculation on a mental platform or imagination on a mental platform? By steadiness. And how do you tolerate the urge for intellectual analysis, intellectual rationalization? By cultivating simplicity. There should be simplicity in heart. Hanumanji, for example. Hanuman is very powerful physically. His senses are very strong. And Hanuman is very powerful intellectually also. Buddhibalam. He is very buddhiman. But he also has finer emotions for Lord Ramachandra. See, Hanuman used his intelligence how to enter this Rakshasa palace. In Sundarakanda, he enters Ravana's palace, right? He becomes small, like baby monkey or a cat or something like that, very small. He's exploring the entire palace of Ravana, which is about 8 miles long. He's exploring all the other palaces in Lanka city. He's analyzing everyone. He's looking at all the women, trying to see if they resemble Sita Devi as described by Lord Ramachandra. So he's doing all that with his intelligence. He feels that those who are not intelligent, those who are not smart, those who are foolish will spoil any great plan. So we need to be very intelligent in approaching things. So he used his intelligence to reach Lanka and explore Lanka, finding Sita Devi. But when he actually saw Sita Devi being tormented by the threats of Ravana, Hanuman had tears in his eyes. He thought, Ram must be so hard-hearted. Otherwise, how is he maintaining his life while being separated from such a tender, divine lady Sita Devi? Immediately, his emotions became very active. And now, Sita Devi was being tormented by Ravana for about 10 months by then. And all the Rakshasis around Sita Devi, in the form of donkeys and wolves and foxes and tigers, they have all kinds of Vikrita Rupas and they're tormenting Sita Devi. And Sita Devi is experiencing all these terrible sounds and terrible proposals, terrible threats. She's very emotional. Emotionally, she's very much disturbed. And in intense separation from Lord Ramachandra, she's crying profusely, not eating anything, not drinking anything, emaciated, wearing a dirty cloth, not at all, looking like a happy, regal queen. Now, if Hanumanji has to go and pacify her, Hanumanji has to empathize with her emotions, Hanumanji has to go and give her some reassurance and hope. And he's a brahmachari. Hardly had any interaction with women. Right? And first time he's seen Sita Devi. For the first time in his life. In his manifest pastimes. Now, if he goes in front of Sita Devi in the form of a monkey, small or big monkey, Vanara, then Sita Devi may suspect Ravana must have come in front of me in the form of this Vanara. How can a Vanara speak such refined language? How can a Vanara sing such beautiful songs? Definitely it is Rakshasa Maya. That may be her imagination. Then she may scream loudly. She may doubt Hanumanji. We don't know what all she can do. Hanumanji has to deal with the situation very delicately. She has to pacify the emotions of a woman who is thoroughly tormented by these Rakshasis and Rakshasa. Every day, this Ravana's morning program is to come and we say Samsara Dava Nalalita Loka. He says, Sita Devi, please become my queen. That is his song. Every day. And he will become angry. He'll softly speak. He begins with a soft speech and he concludes with a harsh threat. He says, if you don't submit to me, if you don't become my queen, I will have you killed. I will chop your body and have you cooked for my breakfast. And other Rakshasis will come and say, before our king cooks you for breakfast, we will only eat you. I'll eat your hands, I'll eat your legs. Like that they're saying, I'll eat your cheeks. That's what these ladies are saying, these Rakshasis are saying. Now in such a fragile situation, in such a delicate situation, Sita Devi is there, and here is this Brahmachari Hanuman. He has to go in front and pacify her. Just intelligence and strategy is not sufficient. He needs to have finer emotions. He needs to have sensitivity. He needs to have empathy and sympathy. So Hanumanji is a combination of both. He had that simplicity to understand. When you're too complicated in your thought process, you cannot understand and acknowledge the finer emotions of other people. Somebody is emotional and you are seeing it in a logical way. When you evaluate emotions in a logical way, you cannot acknowledge their emotion and you will just mess up the relation, right? When they are in an emotional plane, very high in emotions, you should have the bandwidth and maturity to connect with their emotions and then do the needful to benefit them. We need to be able to change the gears, right? You're always analytical, overly analytical, always rationalizing the situations. Highly philosophical, highly intellectual, highly logical. Somebody says, I'm not feeling happy here. One logical person said, what does it mean? What does unhappiness mean? What does disappointment mean? Logic, I want logic. You cannot understand. You cannot understand finer emotions with your material, mundane logic and rationalization and intellectualization, right? So we need to tolerate that urge to overly intellectualize and rationalize things and situations and people's emotions especially. Hanumanji could do it. He had that simplicity to understand the simple heart of Hanumanji. Very fragile he handled, and he was effective in doing it. Hanumanji was successful in pacifying Sita Devi, giving her hope and reassurance. Yes, he offered the ring. Ring is like a Brahmastra for him. But before even he offered that ring, Hanumanji did the needful to make Sita comfortable. Otherwise, Sita Devi can suspect Hanuman. Hanuman. One day Sita Devi was putting sindoor. Hanuman saw, my dear mother, what is this on your forehead? What will he understand, the brahmachari? She said, if I put this on my forehead, Ram will be happy. Then Hanumanji applied sindoor all over his body. All over his body. And just, Ram, please be happy. Prasanna ho, Prabhu, prasanna ho, please. That is his simplicity. Such an intelligent person. How can he apply it? Because he's not only an intelligent person and a powerful, strong person, he also has that simplicity. He also has that finer emotions. Intellectual people cannot have tears. And those are overly emotional, they cannot intellectually, rationally approach a situation. A devotee means one who has balance of both. Jnanis, they want to reject all relationships. No finer emotions, no relations. That's what a Gnani is. But devotee is not like that. Devotee means they should have a proper balance of intellectual, rational, philosophical analysis plus finer emotions, understanding and imbibing of finer emotions in bhakti. Right? Bhakti is ultimately an emotion. An action associated with an emotion, which is the most intelligent thing to do. But if we overly intellectualize things, we are missing those emotions. So, tolerate that urge to approach Shastra intellectually. Tolerate that urge to approach Vaishnava relationships overly rationally. If you are overly rational, if you are overly logical, yes, logic has its role to play. I am not denying that fact. Logic and rational thinking has to be there, but not at the cost of compromising on finer emotions. Devotional emotions, not speculated emotions. Now the fourth level, final level. Tolerance on the ego plane. How many levels we have seen? First level is sensory platform. Okay, how to tolerate? By cultivating? Regulation, correct. Regulating your senses. Second, mental or emotional plane. Steadiness. Third, intellectual platform. Simplicity. Cultivate simplicity. Last, ego. Ego platform. So what is being experienced by ego? Man and Apman. Honor and dishonor are experienced by ego. Honor and dishonor, victory and defeat in one sense. When somebody honors you, your ego is pacified. When somebody dishonors you or disrespects you, your ego is hurt. When somebody praises you, your mind is satisfied, but your pride is increased. Egoistic pride is increased. When somebody criticizes you, mind is disappointed, simultaneously ego is hurt. Mind and intelligence, mind and ego, they play with each other. Basically, mind is a subordinate to ego. Mind is a servant of ego. Ego is hurt, mind becomes emotional, disappointed. Ego is inflated, mind becomes happy. So we need to tolerate that urge to become proud when others praise us, when others appreciate us. We need to tolerate that urge to become egoistically disappointed when someone criticizes us, when someone dishonors us, when someone disrespects us. Nindanastava satkara nyakarartham kalevaram. What is the purpose of this kalevara, this body? To experience ninda, criticism. Hey, kyun? Why did you enter the material body first? Why are they criticizing me? Question is, answer to that is in the form of a question. Why did you enter the material body? You should be in a spiritual body, in the spiritual world, then nobody will criticize you. Because you have entered a material body, this material body is meant to be criticized by others. Or one who has entered the material body, that embodied living being, has to be criticized. Nindana, stava, satkara, nyakarartham kalevaram. This kalevaram is meant to experience ninda, criticism, stava, praise. Both are on a material platform. Satkara means honor, nyakara means neglect, disrespect. Nindana, stava, satkara, nyakarartham kalevaram. But ego gets hurt. They did not acknowledge my glory, my experience, my position, my power. They did not offer me garland. They did not offer me the first honor. They did not offer me chair. They did not look at me. They looked through me. They looked down upon me. Ego is hurt. They looked up to me. Again, ego is inflated. When people look up to you or look down upon you, or don't look at you, always ego is affected. Ego is negatively affected. There is no positive effect, negatively affected, right? Whether ego is inflated or hurt, that's negativity only. So we have to tolerate. People will disrespect us, tolerate. People will insult us, tolerate. Know that I must have insulted someone yesterday, or 10 days back, or 10 years back, or 10 lifetimes back. Therefore, it is coming to me. Nothing is happening randomly. Apparently, in that situation, you may be innocent. But if you are really innocent, eternally innocent, you will not be affected. You will not be insulted by anyone. That's why Suniti Mata told Dhruva, Dhruva, somebody insulted you. Please take it as your karma. Don't blame them. Don't hate them. Don't desire harm for them. Know that we are experiencing the results of our past misdeeds. Tatenu kampam susamikshvano bhunjana evatmakritam vipakam. Hridvagva purbhir vidadhan namaste jivetayo muktipade sadaya bhag. We need to understand this. So, Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishtuna amanina manadena. We should honor everyone, we should respect everyone, we should not expect to be honored by others. When there is no tolerance within us, we'll expect honor from others. But when there is tolerance within us, when there is opulence of tolerance within us, even if others don't honor us, we are not affected by it. It's okay. If they are wrong on their part in disrespecting me or dishonoring me, that's their problem, not my problem. Right? Now somebody disrespected you and you get hurt and he's happy. Galti kisne kiya? They did the mistake, right? They should be unhappy. Why are you unhappy? Getting right? If somebody disrespects you, that is their problem, not your problem. Right? And if it is your mistake, then it's your problem. Right? If it's your mistake, you understand that it is my problem, I need to rectify my mistake so that people don't disrespect me. Not that I want their respect, but I should not behave in a disgraceful manner. So that's the lesson for us. But if there is no mistake on your part, still people disrespect you, that's not your problem, that's their problem. Right? Krishna will deal with them accordingly. You don't desire harm for them. Right? You don't hate them or you don't desire harm for them. Let Krishna deal with them the way he thinks appropriate. But you should be peaceful. Is it easy? Very difficult. It's easy to say, but very difficult to implement, right? I may say it, I may forget it tomorrow. I'm saying it, honestly. Let me confess, right? And somebody ignores us, neglects us, disrespects us, even if there is a mistake on our part, we get hurt. And if there is no mistake on our part, we get more hurt. But whether there is a mistake on your part or no mistake on your part, you should not get hurt. That's what Vaishnava philosophy says. If somebody disrespected you, if there is a mistake on your part, what should you do? Take it as a lesson, take it as purification, and try not to repeat the same mistake. Right? Here, bring logic here. Wherever you have to apply logic, there you have to apply logic. Don't apply logic somewhere else. See it in a logical way. Somebody disrespected you, see it logically. Why did they disrespect me? मेरा कुछ गलती था. So let me rectify it. That's one way. मेरा कुछ गलती नहीं था. I don't have to rectify anything. I should continue my work. Right? That's their problem. They disrespected me. So whether there is a problem, whether there is a mistake on your part or no mistake on your part, there is no reason for you to get insulted or disappointed when others are not treating you the way you expect them to treat. Ego should not to tolerate that urge of that ego to respond in a ugly manner. When the ego is hurt, we want to insult them. Today he insulted me, tomorrow I will insult them. I'm looking for an opportunity. I will get some. I will also get some chance. Everybody has their turn, their time. So today you insulted me. याद है मुझे. So that's of no use. We'll waste our time. We'll spoil our minds. We'll postpone our advancement. We'll miss relishing Harikatha. When the mind is filled with such disappointments, when the ego is filled with all those impressions, when the intelligence is filled with lot of speculated analysis, we will miss to relish simple pastimes of Krishna. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela of Krishna doesn't touch our hearts when the mind and intelligence and ego and senses are filled with so many distractions. Tolerate. We need to exhibit tolerance on a sensory platform, mental platform, intellectual platform, ego platform, so that the soul can access Krishna. So that the soul can go back to the spiritual platform. The soul is, poor soul, entrapped in this subtle and gross bodies. Gross body filled with senses, subtle body with MBA, mind, man, buddhi, ahankar. Poor soul, release it, na? Liberate the soul. When we are unable to tolerate all the temptations and tribulations and distractions and disturbances on the sensory platform or mental platform or egoistic platform or intellectual platform, the soul is getting entangled more and more. You tolerate. Let it go. You tolerate and be detached, then the soul is liberated. But if you don't tolerate, soul is entrapped. We are harming ourselves more than others. Makes sense? So, although we discussed a lot on how to tolerate at different levels in our spiritual life, we should never tolerate injustice. Krishna told Arjuna, tolerate happiness and distress, tolerate heat and cold, don't tolerate injustice. Arjuna said, okay, I will tolerate all the atrocities done by Duryodhan, Dushasan, Karna, Shakuni. I will not fight. I don't want a kingdom. I will go chant Hare Krishna in a cave, in the forest, in a secluded forest. Leave me. Or I will be killed, unarmed. Let Bhishma kill me. Let Drona kill me. Let Duryodhan kill me. Let Karna kill me. He's very eager. I don't want a kingdom. Na kankshe vijayam Krishna nacha rajyam sukhani cha. Arjuna said all this. Krishna, you only told Titikshasva Bharata. Titiksha, tolerate. Then Krishna says, I told you to tolerate happiness in distress. I never told you to tolerate injustice. I never told you to tolerate adharma. And adharma is happening. How can you tolerate that? Especially when you have the ability and responsibility to rectify that adharma and anyay, you can't keep quiet in the name of tolerance. I have to be tolerant. Krishna made you a kshatriya. You have so much of military knowledge and experience. And as a kshatriya, it is your responsibility to destroy adharma and protect innocent citizens. And in the name of tolerance, you are saying, I will not fight. Where is the logic here? Don't be emotional. You kill your relatives and tolerate separation from them. Arjuna says, no, I cannot tolerate separation from them. I will not kill my relatives. I will tolerate their injustice. Krishna says, that's not my teaching. You kill them, you oppose them, you fight with them, you kill them, and you tolerate separation from them, but don't tolerate their injustice. Especially if it is within your ability and if it is your responsibility to counteract injustice. If you don't do anything about it, in the name of tolerance, you are doing a disservice. Right? Tolerance is not being coward. Tolerance is not being stupid. Tolerance is not being incapable, inefficient, irresponsible, oblivious, aloof. If you can't do something, fine. Surrender to the situation. If it's not within your scope to do something to address the situation, then also fine. Leave it. But if it is within your ability and if it is your responsibility to rectify the situation, you can't keep quiet in the name of tolerance. One of the most important lessons of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna, you have the ability and you have the responsibility to protect the citizens and kill these people who are on the side of adharma. Don't tolerate their injustice. Makes sense? Vaishnava tolerance. In the name of tolerance, we need not and we should not allow ourselves to get exploited by others. We have to protect ourselves. We have to protect our bhakti. And we have to protect some innocent people who are dependent on us, at least whom Krishna has kept under our care. Or don't even take that position. Simple. This is about Vaishnava tolerance. And if we can exhibit tolerance at all levels, I forgot the main point. Tolerance on a sensory platform is accomplished by regulation. Tolerance on a mental platform is accomplished by steadiness. Tolerance on an intellectual platform is accomplished by, and tolerance on an ego platform is accomplished by humility. Humility. Right. Ego gets hurt. You cannot tolerate the pastimes of the ego. But to tolerate the pastimes of your own ego, you need to have humility. Otherwise, we'll be affected by respect and disrespect, praise, criticism, honor, dishonor. Only when we have humility, we'll be unaffected by honor and dishonor and other things. Otherwise, even if our sense of ego is hurt even slightly, my God, I will not talk to him. Cut. Relationship cut. You can maintain a safe distance if there is no compatibility. That's not an issue. But your decision to maintain a respectful distance should be with an intention not to disrespect the person by going close, not by hating that person. Right? You remain their well-wisher. You even pray for them. And without troubling yourself, if you want to serve them, you can serve them also. Serve them. That's good. Especially if they're Vaishnavas, of course. Even if they're against your will, you can still serve them. That's why you can get purified. You'll become more humble. Serving a Vaishnava who is totally different in his temperament than you. Huh? That's the greatest way of cultivating humility. Right? You don't like him, or you don't like his way. Not like him. It's not that you don't like him, you don't like the way he functions, but still you serve him. That's a wonderful way of cultivating humility, isn't it? Right? So basically be their well-wisher, and don't hate them. But if it is required, then you operate separately. Right? So, tolerance. Without tolerance, we cannot maintain our relationships. Whether it is within a family or within an ashram, within the renounced order, within spiritual circles or material circles, tolerance is one of the most essential ingredient to maintain relationships. You are sitting to chant in the temple hall in the morning. You are chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Someone next to chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. He's making a lot of noise. And some people doze off in their chanting. And they snore also. Tolerate. If you can't tolerate that, right, don't hate the person, poor person. Go 10 feet away and then sit and chant. Sometimes people who are sitting next to you, they chant. Somehow they ensure that you hear their chanting. You want to hear your chanting, but whether they are hearing their chanting or not, they'll make you hear their chanting. Right? You have seen such people? Respect them, they're trying to chant. Respect them. But if you are unable to chant your rounds, if you are unable to hear your rounds in their presence, go somewhere else and chant. Go behind the Garbhagriha. If in front of Garbhagriha, if you are getting trouble, go behind. Now temple hall is very big now. Right? So that much of distance you have to maintain. Right? Don't be bothered by others. In the name of tolerance, you don't have to voluntarily invite a lot of inconvenience upon yourself. So maintain respectful distance if that is required, but don't hate the person. Be their well-wisher. So tolerance is a vast topic. It's like an ocean, but we have sprinkled a few drops on our head. I'll conclude here. What's the time now?
36.
4:36. Okay. I occupied the Q&A time also. Thank you very much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Should we take questions? One or two questions, comments, takeaways? Your hand is always up. Your hand is also always up. Any other people who are less frequent in asking questions? Okay, you are less frequent. You can ask Jain Prabhu. If nobody is there, you will get your turn. Don't worry.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for such an enlightening class. Can you please explain more about how we can actually inculcate humility by serving some Vaishnavas who are not in favor of our emotions?
When we come to humility topic, we'll discuss it. You are giving an essay question or a seminar topic for me. Humility will have separate discussion. Anything else? Tolerance. Yes, Mati.
In the whole area of psychology and counseling and all of that, there is a term called spiritual bypassing. I'm not sure if you've come across that.
First time I'm hearing this.
Okay, so spiritually bypassing means that you do not look into or you don't do the inner work, and you're just focusing entirely on spirituality, and you kind of just bypass all your emotions and all your feelings. So my question is, and it's much more deeper than whatever I just explained. It's interesting, maybe you could look into it, but how do we not do that? How do we do the inner work still?
What do you mean by inner work?
Inner work is like when we experience anger or frustration, how don't we just suppress all that, being dishonest with ourselves, and we just say, no, I'm humble, it's okay. And so instead we just go and chant Hare Krishna. Right? Because that's us being dishonest, and we're bypassing our inner world, actually.
See, if you are able to effortlessly ignore your anger or frustrations and focus on chanting Hare Krishna, as you said, that's good, that's the best. But if you are forcefully suppressing your anger, suppressing your frustration, suppressing that negativity, and not addressing it, later it may come out in an ugly way, more ugly manner. Either you internally reconcile or externally address. Internally reconcile it. No point being angry, it's like, leave it. That's fine. You are detached, you are aloof. You are focusing on your spiritual practices and not giving so much of attention to the momentary emotional outbursts or anger or frustration that you are experiencing in your certain day-to-day situations. You are ignoring and then moving ahead. That's fine. But that's not ignoring. If it is still there within the heart, and if it is growing in the heart, if it's not allowing you to focus on your sadhana, you're only suppressing it or oppressing it temporarily, and it's popping up every now and then you have to address it. Either internally reconcile it and be detached, or externally address it and do the needful. Okay. One more here.
So about loneliness, you mentioned that when we have a very deep bonding with Krishna, we're experiencing prem, then we'll not. Like at the sadhaka level, I wanted to know what can we do in our daily practice, because externally we are doing the same thing, chanting, reading. What can we do to make sure we are also developing that emotional bond with Krishna?
Whatever we are doing, let's do it in a more attentive manner. Anyways, you have to chant 60 notes. Anyways, you are doing Bhakti Shastri. Anyways, you are reading Gita Bhagavatam. So when you invest your thought, your feeling, your emotion more into it, be a little more attentive. Increase that attention, increase that concentration. Put some effort to keep it in your mind as long as possible. Instead of just doing it as a mechanical job, a to-do activity in your list, and then, okay, I finished this list, next. This chapter khatam ho gaya, done. 12th chapter is done, tomorrow there is exam, second module is done, then third module. I mean, you need to go back and then revise, recheck. So basically internalize, absorb it. So putting a tick mark and then moving ahead is one thing, but trying to internalize it, absorb it, reflect on it, contemplate, introspect. So that will help you internalize things. Otherwise, we'll just pass through the situations, pass through the experiences, pass through all the elements of sadhana, and we may not realize things. We have to realize. Yes, svanubhava akhila shruti saramekam. Svanubhava. Yes, I agree, Prabhu.
My question was how to develop humility and like suppress our ego, but at the same time not create like a inferiority complex.
We'll discuss in the humility topic, bro. Maybe next week we'll take humility. He also asked something about humility. Today, tolerance. They're connected, but still. The essay questions. Yes, Prabhu. Last question. We need to go. We need to tolerate guys to ask questions. More questions, yeah.
So a part of it was answered in the spiritual bypassing question that Mataji has asked.
Okay.
So it was similar, like how sometimes if we tolerate, and we have actually not tolerated, but we have buried it, later it comes in a way for each level, like senses, mind,
Correct.
ego. So how to ensure that we are not
Practice.
practice.
You cannot effortlessly exhibit uttam level tolerance while being a struggling sadhaka. Keep on practicing. You may fail to tolerate. After 10 failures, you may tolerate. Your tolerance level may increase little more, 1% more. It's an ongoing process, work in progress. Construction work in progress. Sometimes construction may take 2 years or 4 years. Here it's taking 15 years and still going on, right? So we are all work in progress. It'll take some time. Thank you. So we'll conclude here. You had a question, Prabhu? Is it fine? You can ask. Why skip only one question?
Prabhu, my question was, how can we be tolerant to, or also you were speaking about Arjuna, and how can we tolerate sometimes injustice from our own family members, and how can we act in that way?
Tolerating injustice done by your own family members.
Because it says that we should not permit like this injustice, but when it is in our family, it's different.
Your problem is not new. Pandavas faced the same problem. Aho kashtama ho nyayam yadyu yam dharma nandana jeevitam narhata klishtam vipra dharmachyut ashrayah. First canto, Bhishmadeva says, Aho kashtam, my dear Pandavas, we underwent so many kashtam, difficulties, and anyayam, injustice. You didn't deserve to live amidst all these kashtams and anyayams. But you could manage to do it by Vipra Dharma Achyuta Ashraya. Take shelter of Vipra. In our case, Vaishnavas. Take shelter of Vaishnavas. Dharma, take shelter of Bhakti. And take shelter of Achyuta, Krishna. By taking shelter of Bhakti, Bhagavan and Bhaktas, Bhagavatas, we'll be able to tolerate injustices. But if you can address it, address it. But if it's beyond your scope of addressing, tolerate, and that ability to tolerate will come by sincere bhakti, sincere practice of bhakti. Hiranyakashipu, own family member, how much injustice he has done to Prahlad Maharaj, he tolerated. And Krishna protected. So we'll have the ability to tolerate when we perform our bhakti nicely, when we take shelter of Krishna nicely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.